What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Darium's Competitive Pokemon, back for another Card of the Day video. Today, we are talking about the supporter, Skyla. We got a dope full art Skyla here from the Breakpoint set. Skyla is a supporter card with the effect that reads, search your deck for a trainer card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterward. So, very simple. You trade your supporter for turn for any trainer card from your deck. So sometimes you might just be using Skyla to search out, excuse me, Dan. Dan is sorting bulk and being very loud over there. But sometimes you might use Skyla from your deck to just sort out a more, a better draw supporter. So sometimes you might Skyla for a Professor Sycamore. Sometimes you might Skyla for an N. Sometimes you might Skyla for the game-winning Guzma. This is not a great effect, just trading one supporter for another, but it is something that, you find yourself doing sometimes in-game. The better use for Skyla is to search out useful items out of your deck. So Skyla does really well for searching out stadium cards. It can search out item cards, tool cards, useful one-ofs that you might be looking for. It is also great for completing card combinations, complex card combinations that are needed to pull off certain decks, main functions. So for instance, Skyla is absolutely fantastic at getting stage 2 Pokemon into play. A lot of times you might be, using an N, you might N, and then you find yourself with the basic that you have that you need in play, maybe a Ralts or something like that. You might N into a hand with Skyla and Gardevoir GX in it. On the following turn, you could Skyla for the rare candy and get that Gardevoir GX into play. Since you can only play 4 copies of rare candy in your deck, Skyla makes it so that you can essentially have more outs to rare candy. If you think about it, rare candy is the hardest piece of the evolving into a stage 2 combination to complete. You can have up to more than 8 outs to a stage 2 Pokemon in your deck. You could have 4 copies of that stage 2 Pokemon if you like. You could have 4 copies of Ultra Ball, and then some stage 2 Pokemon like Vikavolt are even searchable via Heavy Ball. So it is very easy to get access to that Vikavolt. However, if you find yourself playing N and Sycamore, finding the rare candy is absolutely the hardest piece of that puzzle to complete. Skyla does a very, very good job of finding that rare candy piece so that you could piece together your stage 2 Pokemon that you need to make your deck function. The current standard format is booming with stage 2 Pokemon right now. We have Vikavolt, Tapu Bulu GX is a stage 2 deck. There is Metagross is a very popular stage 2 deck. There is my Magnezone deck is a stage 2 deck. Obviously, Gardevoir GX, another very popular stage 2 deck. There are lots of stage 2 decks that are seeing play right now. Even Solgaleo, some people are playing Solgaleo right now for that metal typing because of Gardevoir GX's popularity. Stage 2 Pokemon, this is their time, and because the format has come to a slower pace, because the format is slowing, Skyla is seeing much more play because Skyla is not the fastest supporter card, but it does very much help set up decks, and it has a long history of doing so. If we look back a few years into the game where, Deluge, Blastoise, Black Kyurem EX, and Raybor were seeing lots of play, Skyla was being played as a 4-of in these decks to search out stadiums like Tropical Beach so that those decks could draw more cards. It was also useful for finding those rare candies, completing those card combinations, finding cards like Superior Energy Retrieval, just so that those decks could continue functioning throughout the course of the game. These decks actually played minimal copies of Professor Juniper, which is the equivalent of Professor Sycamore back in that time period. So it played maybe 2-3 copies of the discard, your hand, draw 7, and, opted for Skyla as the supporter of choice so that you could pick and choose the items you wanted out of your deck. The current standard format is kind of arriving at a very similar place, and a lot of players that have played for a few years will find this format to be very, similar to the game back then. Decks are playing more copies of Skyla because Versus Seeker is rotated and no longer an option. Skyla is a valid option for completing these card combinations, allowing you to continue to get the items you need out of your deck throughout the course of the game. With draw possibilities like Octillery and Oranguru, Skyla could be very useful because you can use Skyla to hand select the item or trainer card or stadium card you need out of your deck and then continue to draw into additional resources with Octillery's Abyssal Hand or Oranguru's Instruct. I think Skyla is an excellent supporter card that has a very bright future for this standard format, especially in these stage 2 decks. I think it's, being played anywhere from a 1 of to a 3 of in these stage 2 decks. I've seen some Vikavolt decks playing 3 copies of Skyla, being able to search out those cards you need like Energy Recycler, or being able to search out Choice Band for a game-winning 210 damage is just very, very good. So I think Skyla is an excellent supporter, going to be seeing a lot of play in the future of standard format. Let me know what you guys think.
Hey, can I let you know what I think?
Sure, Dan, go ahead. I was about to close things off.
Did you mention that if you have a Tapu Lele, that Skyla just turns into any item card with the Tapu Lele?
Obviously.
Tapu Lele item cards now.
Obviously, Tapu Lele being able to find Skyla, yes, it's a very
Tapu
good
Lele
thought
finds
too.
item cards. Oh my God.
Very good thought too, Dan. So, because we have Tapu Lele GX in format, which is just such a, a game-breaking card, you can turn an Ultra Ball into any other item in your deck with Tapu Lele in deck. You can Ultra Ball for a Choice Band, essentially, right? If you have bench space for your Tapu Lele GX. So, good thought, Dan.
You expanded on my idea.
Good thought.
That was awesome.
Good thought. So, yes, Tapu Lele GX makes Skyla even better and even more playable. Let me know what you guys think of Skyla in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace.